This is going on mic because we're literally... Hi guys, we're coming back and we're literally after the last scenario and we are currently still talking about the sidekicks thing because me and Sheeny feel like that the henchman thing, right, it just doesn't cover, and yes, we have found out there are a lot of people who are technically sidekicks, but the word sidekick is for a hero. Henchman we feel like is just like a gun-toting extra red shirt. So we think that actually there should be a name for a
so you got
super villain.
Somebody like Mercy Graves was Lex Luthor's sidekick, but she was that autonomon that he made, right? She was a robot that he made.
Yeah, that's just a robot.
So it's not really his sidekick.
Yeah, but mention some of the other ones. I mean, technically, like
Harley Quinn is the best example I could actually think of. Because,
I mean,
but then she drifts into the whole lover thing. But like we said, sidekicks are more important to the main person. So if Joker lost Harley Quinn, it would impact him far more than any of his henchmen that die.
Yeah, but like a better example would be Palpatine and Vader.
But that's his apprentice. So do we call the sidekicks to villains apprentices?
Yeah, but would they appreciate them being called apprentices because that would mean they're taking over at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah, see
and
what I mean?
It would also mean that they'd have... Well, the only way that wouldn't be a problem is if they're far younger, I guess, because then inevitably you're going to be like, well, inevitably I'm going to die at some point.
Assistant evil manager.
So, yeah, but then you're just calling them your manager.
Assistant. Senior manager. Evil manager.
I can't think of any more.
Right. Because you think about it, right? When I think of henchmen, I think of... If we're going Star Wars universe, I'm thinking...
Oh, I know. Kind of. What about Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter? She's basically... But again, she's just a Death Eater to Voldemort. She doesn't mean that much to Voldemort.
Yeah, but she's more important than
she's one of the head Death Eaters, so I guess instead of having an actual one person, he's got an inner circle. So maybe villains have the henchmen that do fuck all, but then they have an inner circle of a select few that are just
what do you call them?
A little bit more...
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a name for the inner circle of bad guys who are more powerful than red shirt henchmen. Because the best example of that, I mean, every time you look at it, wherever you look throughout movies, you have red shirts. Stormtroopers are the red shirt henchmen, right? For the baddies in Star Wars.
You got Renfield, who was the sidekick to Dracula, but again, Dracula only created Renfield to be basically his manservant.
Exactly.
But gave him some limited amount of powers. So, Dracula gave Renfield some powers, but that was only to look after Dracula. It was like, I'm going to give you some of my power so that you will be a more useful servant to me.
The only thing I can think of is we're calling them supervillains, and they'd be the villains.
Well, they too are villains. Kronk from Emperor's New Groove. I mean, he is...
But not a henchman.
Yeah, but she doesn't... Yeah, I was going to say, she doesn't have numerous ones. She only has... Is
him.
it Yzma? Yzma only has Kronk.
Yeah.
So technically, he is her
the
side.
henchman.
He is her side. But he's not, though, because he's just the muscle. He's the guy that just does the things that she doesn't want to do.
Yeah, like Robin. For Batman and Robin.
Well, no, because they work together. They fight together.
Yeah, but so does Yzma and Kronk.
No, because Yzma would just send Kronk to go and do your fucking dirty work. I think
Okay.
that's the difference. That a villain sends their... Again, Palpatine sends Vader off.
Yeah, but
they don't stand side by side and fight.
But if you want to say that, then Pinky and the Brain. Pinky is women...
Yeah, but they're not evil.
Are they not? Their rule is to try and take over the world.
Brains is. Pinky is not. Pinky doesn't have a brain.
Yeah, well, would you say the same with Yzma and Kronk?
Kronk's just a nice guy who talks to squirrels, man.
Yeah, so's Pinky.
Yeah.
See? So you could technically call him a henchman.
I'm trying to find more examples of the Sheriff of Nottingham in Disney's Robin Hood.
He's not the bad guy. He's just the henchman.
And he's employed to be the Sheriff of Nottingham, so he's not the sidekick to the King John.
No, he's not.
Like, it's...
Right.
The examples I'm getting are just such a stretch from what a real one would be. They've got Stephen Warren here from Django Unchained.
Hold up, everybody.
Are you ringing Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Lee, are you busy?
At work, mate. What's up?
Yeah, well, we need you because we're currently recording. You're currently live recording at the moment.
Hey, what's up?
We have a question.
Shoot.
So, we're sitting here and we're having a little bit of a mental crisis right now.
A mental what?
Right. Sheeny, explain it better than I will ever explain it, right? Go on.
No, Lee, we just need examples of sidekicks to villains, because obviously heroes have sidekicks, but does a villain have a sidekick, or are they just henchmen?
Sometimes, I mean, you got like Harley Quinn to the Joker, Jenny to the Joker.
Do they not cross the line though? Because like she's a love interest more than an actual like sidekick.
We're trying to get to the point, right? We're trying to get to the point that we're saying that henchman does not cover
And they don't fight side by side.
us the same thing as what it should.
Henchmen aren't sidekicks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but
a good example is Wrath and Scorn. So Wrath is the villain, and Scorn is the sidekick.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Do they fight side by side?
Yes.
Right. I see. I think that's the difference.
Exactly what Batman and Robin do, but bad.
There we go.
Yeah, but this is what we're on about. But there's always one that's the leader. So the person that's below, you can't call them the henchman, but you wouldn't call them a sidekick because a sidekick is a hero's name for a secondary.
Sidekick is just someone that fights with.
So
Okay.
what, you think that sidekick covers both
So you
good
call
and
Harley
bad?
Quinn a sidekick?
Yes.
Okay, so
A sidekick doesn't inherently mean good. It's just the trope that good people have sidekicks.
yeah, but would you call Vader a sidekick?
Yeah, but I think sidekick is exclusively a superhero term.
Yeah, but that's what I'm...
Call him. That's like
An apprentice.
Vader is the apprentice.
Yeah, see?
Hero apprentice is called a sidekick.
Oh, there you go. So Apprentice kind of falls into that category as well.
So what, you would rather call the supervillain's right-hand man or woman an apprentice?
No, exclusively in a superhero universe, regardless good or bad, they're a sidekick.
Okay.
So you think
Fine.
sidekick covers both?
Okay.
I think sidekick covers both.
Okay, right. Well, that's
For
Lee's.
example, of Darth Vader, that would be an apprentice.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
What about
Terminology
Mr. Smee
used within
to
that universe?
Right, hold on. We've got some others.
What about Mr. Smee to Captain Hook?
Right hand man.
Okay, again, that's another term.
Another
isn't it?
term. There's not a singular term for a bad guy second in command. This is what we're on about.
No, it depends on like who the bad guy is, the universe that they're based in.
Right.
See?
What about Kronk to
I guess
Yzma?
the theme of the bad guy.
Yeah, but this is what we're on about because sidekick covers almost every good guy's second person.
Would you say Kronk is the sidekick to Yzma?
See?
No.
See?
I would argue yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't personally call him a sidekick. I would say gopher or something like that. I wouldn't say apprentice because she doesn't teach him anything.
No.
See, this
Okay.
is what we're on about. So, like,
Mini-Me and Dr. Evil?
yeah, Mini-Me, Dr. Evil.
Literally calls him sidekick in that.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
See, this is what we're on about. There's not a definitive term for a bad guy's sidekick.
Okay.
Because you've got apprentice, you've got right-hand man, you've got his gopher.
Yeah.
It all is based on the universe that you're in.
We need a word. We need a word
Okay.
for a super villain or a villain's right-hand man or woman or
You just said it, right hand man.
yeah, but that
just
doesn't
gonna
term
go-
it. That
okay.
doesn't cover it because you can.
Number 2.
They're number 2. Okay, yeah, that's all right. The villain's number 2.
Okay, that's all right because I was also thinking like Pinky and the Brain. You wouldn't call class Pinky.
What about LeFou to Gaston?
That's a good point. Yeah, LeFou to Gaston.
That's his hype. That's his hype man.
He's a hype man. Yeah.
Yeah, literally is a hype man. Yeah, he's not a sidekick or anything. He's
I mean, he's romantically in love with Gaston, right?
yeah. I would say
His gay French lover. Right, we're just
or what else could you call him?
see.
A groupie. A
A
groupie.
groupie.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Well,
Okay.
thanks, Lee. Anyway, go back to not working.
Yeah, I wasn't doing a lot.
Hey, that is on mic, by the way.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine. I'll send it to your work.
Bye, Lee.
Cheers, Lee. Say bye to the podcast.
Ta-ra.
Okay. second in command.
All right, this is actually you know what? This has become a scenario.
They're
now.
number 2. That's what it's called.
What is this
The
become?
scenario is what makes a sidekick.
Do you want to do that? Just do us a favour.
What's up and welcome to this week's episode of How Not to Summon a Scenario, where we ask the pressing question, or the important questions. I don't know why I changed the intro.
No, it's a pressing question as well.
The pressing question of what do you call a villain's right-hand man, sidekick, gopher, number 2.
Number 2.
What do you call them?
There's too much.
First create another scene, mess it up in ways unseen. How not to solve it a scenario.
There's too many.
There's a lot that... The fact that... The thing is, you don't do this with heroes.
No, you don't.
With heroes, you go, that's his sidekick.
Yep.
And yet with villains, you go, well, that's this, and that's this, and that's this. Because it seems to me that the complexity of the relationship to the villain changes
name.
constantly. Yeah, it changes the way you would view that person.
Yeah, and I don't
the
like
villain.
it. I feel like there needs to be a
Like
definitive
Harley Quinn,
term.
some people would go, Harley Quinn is his lover. Some would go, well, actually, no, Harley Quinn's his sidekick. Harley Quinn's his number 2. Because you can call... Harley Quinn would fit into multiple different variations of description...
Depending on what sort of thing she's doing.
Yeah, depending on what you think.
And what she's doing.
Yeah, because you can look at it in so many different ways. You know,
There's too many.
Do you if you're what was that killer's name in America? You know, the one with a bloody swastika on his forehead, Charles Manson.
No,
Charles Manson.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like I mean, he got all of his followers.
Followers?
To do all of his back. So like he was almost like a cult leader. Like. So then you've got the man that runs the cult, and then the cultists who do all of his bidding.
Again,
Do you know
another
what I mean? Like,
term.
it's another type of
But that's because it's
people
religious.
that work with them. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's
There's not one
And then
word.
there's apprentices as well, which is another completely different thing, where a villain will actually take somebody on to teach them, like Palpatine with Vader.
It's annoying me that there isn't a singular word for a supervillain or
There
a
isn't,
villain.
unless you're happy to go number 2. That's the villain's number 2.
No, it just doesn't work. Well, it could be, but that sounds also like they're just taking a shit. That right there is the supervillains.
Mini-Me to
Is his son.
Dr. Evil is a clone. You
I need
know,
to have a think about
At what
this
point
as
do
well.
you call your clone... Like, your clone is basically you. I mean, Mini-Me is obviously a quarter of the size, but as a clone, it's exactly the same fucking person.
So, you know, there's certain comics where super or heroes become bad.
Yes.
What happens to the sidekick
Well, it depends if they turn bad.
if they turn bad?
Well, they'd still be viewed as a sidekick, wouldn't they?
Would they?
Well, I guess so, yeah. I guess you'd still say
Have they?
Robin would be Batman's sidekick if they were both evil. I guess you'd still view them the same way.
Would you?
I mean, I've got a list of top 10 best sidekicks in Disney to evil people.
Go on.
So you've got the Benson doll in Toy Story 4 is the sidekick to the other, that girl doll.
I have
that's
not actually
evil.
seen Toy Story 4.
Oh, okay. Well, she's not. LeFou comes up, obviously, but again, his relationship is very complex to Gaston because you don't know what the fuck is going on.
I
there.
think he's in love with him.
You got Shenzi, Banzi, and Ed. So the 3 hyenas to Scar are his 3. So Scar leads the hyenas, doesn't he? However, he has 3 hyenas that are his closest and his biggest connection to the rest of the hyenas. But he's manipulating those 3, so they're not. I wouldn't see them as sidekicks, because he's manipulating them.
They're
to
henchmen.
then control, but they're a higher
henchmen,
grade
though.
of henchmen.
They're still henchmen, though.
It's
This is the
weird.
thing. The termination for a henchman is that they do the person's bidding without thought.
Flotsam and Jetsam to Ursula, her 2 eels.
They're pets, for me.
Okay, pets. There's another thing, because other people would go, no, they're the sidekicks.
Yeah, you see? Because then you also think, all right, the Ice Queen from Narnia. She has many a people.
Yeah, you would call them henchmen. There's nobody that stands out as being somebody closer to her. Pain and Panic to Hades.
No, there is a person. The dwarf.
Well, he's not. He's just the guy that drives a slave. For
Yeah,
her.
exactly. But you wouldn't call that a henchman,
No.
right?
Jasper and Horace to Cruella de Vil. They're just employees.
They're just robbers.
They're just people she's just employed. She pays to do things
That
for
is
her.
the definition, I would say, of a henchman. They are paid and employed by the person.
But they're not.
to be
Vader's
bad.
not paid.
Yeah, he isn't. That's what I'm on about.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not a henchman. I would say henchman is the definition of where you're being paid money or in some form. Would you say?
But it works both ways because superhero sidekicks are trying to get some sort of benefit out of being the sidekick.
But they're
to
not
the
being paid.
superhero.
As soon as they become paid, they're mercenaries.
They're not being paid, but
As soon as they're being paid, they're mercenaries.
it's
See?
difficult. It's difficult.
No, because you think about it, right? What do they call Deadpool?
He's an anti-hero.
He's the merc with the mouth.
He's a Well, no, that's because he was a mercenary before.
But he also gets paid.
Well, he used to.
Yeah.
And then when he became Deadpool, then he started doing things for himself rather than actually doing things for money. But that's the point in Deadpool.
I need a little bit more in-depth, actually. into that one.
Anti-heroes do things to the benefit of themselves and don't really care about anyone else around them. That's what an anti-hero does. So, like, if there's an evil guy that comes to destroy the world, an anti-hero will go, well, no, actually, I like this world and I want to stay on this world, so then I'll fight the evil.
Okay, different definition. If Wolverine started getting paid for what he was doing, what would you call him?
Wolverine is paid by, like, having what he would call like a family around him and and a roof over his
what
head.
I'm saying though is if he was paid to do it, a job or a superhero thing, if he was being paid, would you call him a mercenary?
Yeah, if they're directly paid.
Okay, well the Avengers became mercenaries.
Uh,
Tell me I'm wrong, because when they became part of the initiative, they got paid
They were funded.
and paid by the
There's
government
a difference, though. The government gave them the funds to do their jobs.
and a pension. So they became employees of the government,
Yeah, I suppose so.
right? So then
Yeah.
they became mercenaries.
It's very hard, because when you look at all the lists of different things that people are saying are the sidekicks to villains, it's just, it doesn't really... None of them stand out as going, yeah, that's definitely what I would call a villain's sidekick.
Okay. What about... Ooh. Here's an interesting one. Pirates of the Caribbean. First one. Black Pearl.
That's his crew.
See? Another different word. Because
Yeah.
you've also got people that are
But
above that.
you only call them a crew because they're on a ship.
True.
Wouldn't be his crew if they weren't on a ship.
So if they all went on land, what are they?
Then they become his henchmen.
See? There's
Like-
different names.
Yeah. There's different names the minute they change location.
If we put them in space, what are they?
The crew again.
Shit, they are.
Yeah.
Because they're a spaceship.
Yeah, they'd be the crew.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Right, I need to change it again. Hold on.
If they're in a vehicle of some variety, they become a crew.
Okay.
as soon as they're on transportation, they're a crew.
That's a good point. I was about to say played crew.
They're literally a crew again.
Oh, God. No, wait, would they?
I mean, what would you... Do you call the Justice League, because they've decided to come together, are they all just sidekicks to Superman?
Maybe.
Because he's the most powerful one
Yeah,
out
but
of
they're
all
all
of them.
superheroes.
I know, but yet they decide
No,
to come
they become a
together.
league.
Yeah, they decide to come together as a league, but
You
there
see?
is a standout one.
Yes, but they're still a league because they're all
So they all-
superheroes.
So yeah, the argument there is that they all see themselves on level playing fields.
That's like when you get a load of bad guys together, they're either a syndicate or a
Yeah,
league.
but what would happen if Robin got as good as Batman at fighting?
He does, though.
But yeah, but
Sometimes.
this is it though.
Then he becomes a
Lee would argue
superhero.
that Nightwing
He's a superhero.
was better in combat than Batman. So therefore, do they then change from being Batman's
think he becomes a
sidekick
superhero.
to their own standalone thing?
Okay, alright. I feel like there's a definition there as well. I feel like they're heroes, not superheroes.
Okay, but they have superpowers.
No, actually they don't. So Nightwing is just really good at flips
Nightwing's
and
not-
shit.
Yeah, no, he's just
This is what I'm on about.
Yeah.
So, like, would
Yeah,
you...
but people do argue that Batman does have some form of power about him, though, doesn't he? He's not just
Okay.
a guy in a suit. He is
Okay,
because he had all this fucking race training, that race algorithm.
Okay.
And
so what? You're calling him what? What would you call him?
I think anybody who displays far greater inaptitude at things than somebody else becomes superhero.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there then.
Yeah,
What is Captain America?
but he's genetically
Is it-
enhanced.
But
through
you would
super
call him
serum.
a superhero,
Yeah,
right?
because of super serum.
Okay. So then what is Hawkeye? They're in the same league.
They are, yeah, but there's levels.
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm on about. They're in the same
You
league.
could argue that based on his skills,
He's
that
a hero.
makes him a superhero because nobody else can do what he can do.
See, but I would call him a hero.
Yeah, but the difference is that nobody else can match his skill.
Okay.
When you stand alone at the precipice of your skill, that's when you become a superhero.
I don't think he's that good.
I think so. But
I
then,
don't think he's
the
that good.
argument would be, is Usain Bolt a superhero because he stands at the precipice of being the fastest man in the world?
Technically,
at
yes.
100 metres.
Technically, yes.
And yes, when you argue, when you turn around and go, well, actually, yeah, over the space of 100 metres, there is only one man that stands alone.
It's a bit like you would call Usyk a superhero because he is the standalone heavyweight champion of the world.
Until defeated, yeah.
So then what does he become if he's then defeated? Okay, all right, this
A
is
loser.
a loser. No,
A phony. A big fat phony.
phony. Just think about it, right? You look at the definitions in terms of all these
I
different
think it just comes to just how mad the skills are. So Hawkeye's bow skills are so almost unrealistic.
But you
to
wouldn't call him a
person.
superhero, you call him a hero.
No, I guess you'd have to call him a superhero because you look at his skills and you go, not any normal man would ever get close to being that good.
Yeah, but he also gets turned by a touch of a staff.
Yeah, but that's got mystical power bullshit about
Yeah,
it.
but so has every other fucking superhero.
Yeah.
Thor's got mystical power bullshit
Thor's
with him.
Thor's not a superhero.
He's a god.
Thor's a god.
Yeah, but he's still the same power level as the Hulk. Would you call the Hulk a god?
I mean, if he wanted to be, he probably could be a
He
god.
could.
Let's
But
be honest.
also, so could Captain America.
Is he?
Because he lifts Thor's hammer.
That's because he's worthy.
Yeah, exactly, of being a god.
Yeah, but there's wielding it. There's no just because he can lift Thor's hammer, you don't see him summon lightning.
Actually, I thought he did.
No, I've never seen Captain America summon the lightning
maybe
and
not.
actually use the actual powers of being the god of thunder.
Okay, here's a definition for you then.
Although Thingy does. Jane.
Yeah, you see?
Jane does.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
Jane
Thor,
does.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
She becomes the female Thor.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Yeah, I think that's more of Marvel doing its...
It was the whole worthy
Thing.
bullshit again.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
doing that weird... that's what fucking Captain America does.
Yeah, but
He's worthy of
just
lifting it.
Granted, but I've never seen him do the whole thunder stuff.
Yeah, he's just not a prick like
But
that. I
he
guess.
is super because he has super serum that genetically enhances him to be far better than anybody else.
But Hawkeye doesn't.
No,
He's
but you
just
could
really
argue
good
that-
at hitting a bow.
But you can argue his skills are
Okay,
beyond the reach
alright.
of a normal human being.
Okay, so what do you call the best archer in the world currently? Are they a superhero?
But his skills can be matched. My argument is that when you look at how unrealistic Hawkeye's skills are, that's when you have to go, well, no, that makes him a superhero because
Yeah,
his
but
skills are just far beyond the reaches
I
of
reckon
any
his
person.
hero could be matched. I reckon if...
Hawkeye, now you've seen some of the fucking shots he hits. They're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
No normal human being would hit those shots. It's
Bet they
just not-
can.
It's just not possible.
I've seen people riding horses shooting off the back of them with arrows.
they're just-
I've never seen Hawkeye do it.
I mean, that
That's all
guy
I'm gonna
rides all sorts of shit and fires bows and arrows.
Yeah, but not fucking horses.
Well.
Never seen it.
I would argue that his skills are far beyond.
Can you imagine if that's his one
No, the argument
kryptonite?
is that his skills are unrealistic.
Okay.
You're going actually. They've put him into the realm of superheroes simply because they've made him unrealistic. I would argue that they've blown him out of proportion and actually they need to rein him in.
That's a good point. He's too dangerous. Actually, he becomes a bad guy.
But he's too skilled. He becomes some sort of Ronin shit with a fucking samurai sword and bollocks, doesn't he?
Well, he becomes a fucking anti-villain.
And
Anti-hero.
He becomes an anti-hero because he lost his family and then he's just like, I'm going
Yeah, and then he gets
gonna
them
kill
back.
them all.
Yeah, but then he gets them back.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and then he's good again.
There's another definition.
But yeah,
Okay, right. I need this.
Doctor Strange isn't a superhero.
I need this.
Doctor Strange is a magician.
So you know when Mini-Me
Yes,
becomes good and
Yes.
helps Austin Powers,
he becomes Austin Powers' sidekick.
right?
Yes,
That's fucked me up. Think about it.
he
There's
becomes Austin
times
Powers' sidekick.
when the good guys or the bad guys second in command then helps the good guys.
Yeah, and
So-
it depends how long they stick with the good guys. If they only help them on one occasion, then they're just helping that.
Okay, what
superhero.
about the blue woman from fucking Guardians of the Galaxy? I forgot her name.
Not Gamora? It's the other one.
Amor.
Um,
This is what I'm on about. think about that then.
Nebula.
Yeah, Nebula. Okay, so
So
what is she?
Nebula and Gamora were the daughters of Thanos.
Yep, and she is the second in command to him. She is. He
Thanos
says
has
it.
a lot of people that work for him, but
He does.
no, it's mainly Gamora because Gamora was always the better fighter of the two of
Mm-hmm.
them. But at the same time, Gamora always resented him. So based on her feelings towards Thanos, she wasn't his sidekick.
Yeah.
She always hated him, and Nebula, in turn.
So would
wasn't
you
exactly a fan
class
either.
Nebula as a henchman?
Yeah, they were his daughters that he then took advantage of and used for his own means.
Look, we're getting away from it. We need a word.
That's family.
La Familia.
That's what they were, technically.
Okay, we need a word, though, for bad guys second in command, and I'm really struggling for it.
Throw ideas. We'll get the people to decide.
We need amalgamations.
Come at us with ideas or even further examples of what you think is a better definition, and just throw us examples of other villains who have people next to them that you would say is a sidekick.
Yeah, because there's too many.
There's
I actually think there's
yeah.
more definitions for evil second in command people.
There is. Than just a sidekick to a superhero.
No, than there is definitions for.
And are all sidekicks to superheroes just somebody who's going to take the mantle? Or are they people who are happy to stay sidekicks? And was Doctor Who's robot dog
Yes,
a sidekick?
yes, he was his sidekick.
Okay.
But this is weird
Not his
because
mechanical pet.
no, actually, it was his companion.
Okay, so there's a difference as well, because every Doctor Who person that Doctor
Is
Who's
a companion.
is companion. So not somebody who stands beside him to fight, but somebody who just comes along for the ride.
Yeah,
So
You
good
see what I
guys
mean?
have companions too, who aren't really there to be a sidekick and help as such, but they're just there for the ride,
yeah.
like a pet.
Oh god, that's even worse. You know what I mean? Like
So Doctor Who's companions are basically his pets.
pets. Yes.
That he likes to go and show things, and they go,
Ooh, isn't that
wow,
nice?" And then
this
he
is
has to go and
amazing. You're
save.
incredible.
Yeah, and he has to go and save him half the time.
And he
when they
just
shit the
lives
bed.
off of the
That.
fact that he's giving them fucking...
So he's a bit of a prick, really, isn't
Yeah,
he?
pretty much.
He's just
Basically,
literally like-
he kidnaps women, takes them through time, puts them in dangerous situations, saves them for the glory, and then drops them home again.
Fucking does, doesn't he? And we all loved it. We all lapped it up.
On that note,
Fucking all lapped it up for years.
it's time for us to chuff off.
What a misogynistic prick.
All you summoners can join us next time for a brand new scenario. If you've got any questions or queries or just want to see what we're up to, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at How Not to Summon, join our Discord to talk to us directly, or go to our YouTube to find all our vids.
He's actually a bad guy.
I've been Genie Senpai.
He's a supervillain. I've been Jim.
See you later, guys.
Technically, am I your second in command today? Because I wasn't the one announcing the show. And are we a supervillain or superheroes?
I don't know, I used to lead the show. Not so much these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. So now, because you're evil, it's all relative. Right, on that note, cheers for that, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm not just solving a scenario. Grace and Jim Sheeny on we go. Laughing loud with their crazy show.